In 1884, a Japanese delegation brought a gift to the World's Cotton Exposition in New Orleans. The plant was stunning. Lavender flowers with yellow spots rose above glossy green leaves that floated effortlessly on water. Visitors called it the most beautiful aquatic plant they had ever seen. Wealthy Americans took specimens home to decorate their garden ponds. Within 10 years, that single gift had multiplied into millions of plants choking rivers across the American South. Within 50 years, governments were spending millions trying to kill it. Within a century, the United States military tested Agent Orange on it. Flamethrowers were deployed. Millions of gallons of herbicide were sprayed. Biological warfare agents were released. Nothing worked. The plant kept spreading. One plant became 3,000 in a single growing season. Those 3,000 became 9 million the next year. The most aggressive eradication campaign in American history failed completely. Today, governments worldwide spend over $100 million annually trying to destroy this plant. They call it the world's worst aquatic weed. They call it an ecological disaster. They call it a biological menace that must be eliminated. But here's what they don't tell you. This plant produces more protein per acre than soybeans. It cleans polluted water better than million-dollar treatment plants. It creates biofuel, animal feed, fertilizer, paper, furniture, and building materials. It absorbs heavy metals that poison communities. The plant they spray with poison is more valuable than the crops they protect. In this video, we're uncovering the complete story of water hyacinth, the most hated plant on Earth that might also be the most useful, the invasive species that could solve pollution, hunger, and energy crises, and the miracle they've spent a century trying to kill. By the end, you'll understand why governments spend billions destroying a plant worth trillions, and you'll know exactly why they don't want you to see it as anything but a weed. Number 1. The growth that terrified governments. One water hyacinth plant produces 3,000 offspring in 50 days. Read that number again. 3,000 plants from one in less than 2 months. Each of those 3,000 plants produces 3,000 more. Within a single growing season, one plant becomes millions. Within 2 seasons, it becomes billions. No other plant on Earth reproduces this aggressively. The mathematics of water hyacinth growth broke every model scientists had for plant population expansion. A single acre of water hyacinth contains approximately 200,000 plants weighing 200 tons. That acre doubles in size every 6 to 14 days. In perfect conditions, water hyacinth can cover an entire lake in a single summer. This is what terrified governments. A plant that could not be outpaced, a species that multiplied faster than any eradication effort could remove it, a biological force that treated poison as a minor inconvenience. Florida's waterways were choked within decades of introduction. Louisiana's rivers became impassable. Texas spent millions and achieved nothing. The plant spread up the Mississippi, across the Gulf Coast, and into every waterway warm enough to support it. The government declared war on a flower. They lost. 80 years of chemical spraying, mechanical harvesting, and biological control have not eliminated water hyacinth from a single American waterway. The plant that arrived as a gift in 1884 has permanently colonized the continent. The agricultural industry calls this a disaster. But disasters don't produce 200 tons of biomass per acre. Disasters don't clean water. Disasters don't feed livestock. Maybe they're fighting the wrong enemy. Number 2. The protein factory. Water hyacinth leaves contain 18 to 25% protein on a dry weight basis. Soybeans, the crop we plant on 90 million American acres, contain 36% protein. But soybeans require farmland, fertilizer, pesticides, irrigation, and months of cultivation. Water hyacinth requires nothing. It grows on water. It needs no land. It fertilizes itself from pollutants. It harvests in days, not months. When you calculate protein production per acre per year, water hyacinth destroys soybeans. 1 acre of soybeans produces approximately 1,000 pounds of protein annually. 1 acre of water hyacinth, harvested continuously, produces 4,000 to 8,000 pounds of protein annually. 4 to 8 times more protein. From water surfaces with no agricultural value, but the protein story goes deeper. Water hyacinth protein has been successfully fed to cattle, pigs, chickens, goats, sheep, rabbits, and fish. Studies across dozens of countries have documented healthy weight gain, good feed conversion, and no adverse effects. In Bangladesh, farmers mix water hyacinth with rice bran to create pig feed. In China, the plant supplements fish pond nutrition. In Egypt, it feeds cattle during dry seasons when other fodder is scarce. The feed industry generates $500 billion annually selling products that require land, cultivation, and processing. Water hyacinth produces superior feed from pollution for free. Now you understand why the feed industry doesn't want this plant recognized as a resource. Number 3. The water purification miracle. Water hyacinth doesn't just tolerate polluted water, it cleans it. The roots of water hyacinth are nature's most effective water filtration system. They absorb nitrogen, phosphorus, heavy metals, organic compounds, and virtually every pollutant humans dump into waterways. A single acre of water hyacinth can process the sewage output of 800 people. The plants absorb the pollutants, lock them into biomass, and leave clean water behind. The numbers from scientific studies are staggering. Water hyacinth removes up to 95% of nitrogen from wastewater. It removes up to 90% of phosphorus. It absorbs lead, mercury, cadmium, chromium, and arsenic at rates that outperform mechanical filtration. In Calcutta, India, water hyacinth systems process raw sewage for millions of people. The plants have worked continuously for decades, producing clean water and harvestable biomass simultaneously. NASA studied water hyacinth for space station water recycling. The plant's ability to purify wastewater while producing biomass made it a candidate for closed-loop life support systems. Municipal water treatment costs American cities billions annually. The infrastructure requires constant maintenance, chemical inputs, and energy consumption. Water hyacinth requires nothing. It multiplies automatically. It improves with age as root systems develop. It produces harvestable biomass as a byproduct. But instead of deploying water hyacinth for treatment, we spray it with herbicides that poison the same water we're trying to protect. The treatment industry generates billions selling equipment and chemicals. A free plant that does the job better threatens their entire business model. Number 4. The heavy metal sponge. Industrial pollution has poisoned waterways worldwide. Heavy metals accumulate in sediments, contaminate fish, and sicken communities. Cleanup costs billions and often fails completely. Water hyacinth absorbs heavy metals from water at rates no other system matches. Studies have documented water hyacinth removing 80 to 95% of heavy metals from contaminated water within days. Lead, mercury, cadmium, chromium, nickel, copper, zinc, the plant absorbs them all. The metals accumulate in root tissue, where they're locked into biomass that can be harvested and safely disposed of. The water is cleaned, the pollution is removed. The process is continuous. In mining regions across the developing world, water hyacinth is deployed deliberately to clean tailings ponds. The plant does work that would cost millions with mechanical systems. Textile factories in Bangladesh use water hyacinth to treat decontaminated effluent. The plants remove colors and chemicals that would otherwise poison rivers. Oil refineries have experimented with water hyacinth for petroleum cleanup. The plant absorbs hydrocarbons and breaks them down biologically. The environmental remediation industry generates billions, cleaning up contamination. Their methods often fail, or simply move pollution from one location to another. Water hyacinth actually removes pollution permanently, for free. But the remediation industry needs contracts. They need ongoing relationships with polluters. They need problems that persist. A plant that solves problems permanently is bad for business. Number 5. The biofuel revolution they blocked. Water hyacinth produces more biomass per acre than any terrestrial energy crop. The numbers are extraordinary. 1 acre of water hyacinth produces 150 to 200 tons of wet biomass annually. That biomass converts to biogas through anaerobic digestion. 1 acre of water hyacinth can generate enough methane to power multiple homes continuously. Researchers have calculated the energy potential. If the water hyacinth covering African lakes were harvested for biogas, it could generate more electricity than those nations currently consume. The math applies everywhere. Florida's water hyacinth, instead of being sprayed with poison, could generate significant power for rural communities. Louisiana's infestation could supplement grid electricity. Every waterway choked with this plant represents energy being wasted. Ethanol production from water hyacinth has also been demonstrated. The cellulose content converts to alcohol through fermentation. The process is well understood and economically viable. Briquettes made from dried water, hyacinth burn cleaner than wood, and provide cooking fuel for communities lacking electricity. In East Africa, water hyacinth briquettes have replaced charcoal, reducing deforestation pressure. The petroleum industry generates trillions annually. The biofuel industry is tightly controlled through corn ethanol subsidies that benefit specific corporations. A free plant that anyone can harvest and convert to energy disrupts this structure completely. Independent energy production is dangerous to centralized power systems. A farmer generating biogas from pondweeds doesn't need the grid. A village making briquettes doesn't need petroleum. The energy industry needs dependent customers. Water hyacinth creates independence. Number 6. The fertilizer nobody sells. Water hyacinth makes exceptional fertilizer and compost. The plant's nutrient content, accumulated from water, transfers to soil when the biomass decomposes. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and micronutrients become available for crop production. Studies show compost made from water hyacinth improves soil structure, increases water retention, and provides slow-release fertility. Crops grown with water hyacinth compost show yield increases of 20 to 40% over unfertilized controls. In Bangladesh, farmers deliberately grow water hyacinth in ponds during monsoon season. When waters recede, they incorporate the biomass into rice paddies. The practice has continued for generations because it works. The technique is called green manure. It's been practiced for centuries wherever water hyacinth grows naturally. But here's the genius of the system. The water hyacinth absorbs nutrients from water that would otherwise cause algal blooms and oxygen depletion. It concentrates those nutrients into harvestable biomass. When applied to fields, those nutrients grow food. The plant is a nutrient recycling machine. It captures agricultural runoff, urban sewage, and industrial discharge, then converts those pollutants into fertility. The fertilizer industry generates $200 billion annually selling synthetic nutrients made from natural gas and mined minerals. The supply is finite. The production is energy intensive. The runoff causes the very pollution water hyacinth could clean. A closed-loop system using water hyacinth would shrink the fertilizer market dramatically. Nutrients would cycle through water, plants, and soil without purchased inputs. The industry needs you to forget that fertility can come from free plants rather than expensive factories. Number 7. The products they don't want you to make. Water hyacinth fiber makes paper, rope, textiles, baskets, furniture, and building materials. The stems contain cellulose fibers that process like other plant materials. Paper made from water hyacinth is smooth, strong, and takes ink well. It can substitute for wood pulp in most applications. In the Philippines, cottage industries weave water hyacinth into bags, baskets, and home decor. The products sell to tourists and export markets. Entire communities earn livelihoods from the plant governments call worthless. In Indonesia, furniture made from water hyacinth frames fetches premium prices. The woven texture is attractive and durable. International designers incorporate it into high-end products. In India, fiberboards made from water hyacinth stems serve as building materials. They're lighter than wood, resistant to termites, and insulate well. The craft industry in countries that embrace water, hyacinth generates hundreds of millions in revenue annually. These are jobs created from a free resource, but developed nations spray the plant instead of harvesting it. The timber industry, the paper industry, the synthetic textile industry, all depend on you not knowing that alternatives exist. A plant that grows for free on polluted water, that anyone can harvest without permission, that converts to products through simple processing, threatens to many established interests, so they teach you it's worthless. They teach you it's a menace. They teach you the only solution is poison. Number 8. The beautiful origin story. Water hyacinth is native to the Amazon basin of South America. In its homeland, the plant exists in balance with ecosystems. Manatees eat it, native fish shelter beneath it, flooding cycles distribute it, dry seasons control it. The plant is part of a functioning system. The beauty of water hyacinth attracted collectors. The lavender flowers blooming profusely on warm water captivated botanical enthusiasts. They saw a garden ornamental, not an ecological force. In 1884, the Japanese delegation brought specimens to the New Orleans Exposition. Americans fell in love with the elegant floating flower. They took plants home and released them into warm southern waters. They had no idea what they were unleashing. Removed from the predators, diseases, and ecological controls of its homeland, water hyacinth found paradise. American waterways were warm, nutrient-rich, and completely defenseless. The plant exploded across the South within years. By 1900, rivers were impassable. Fisheries collapsed under hyacinth mats that blocked light and depleted oxygen. The economic damage accumulated into millions. But blame the plant for what humans caused. Humans removed it from its ecosystem. Humans created the nutrient-rich conditions it loves. Humans eliminated the controls that limited it. The plant is doing exactly what evolution designed it to do. It's humans who made that success into a problem. And instead of using the abundance we created, we declared war on it. Number 9. The war they've been losing. The United States has fought water hyacinth for over a century. The war has cost billions. The plant is winning. Chemical warfare began almost immediately after the invasion was recognized. Arsenical compounds were sprayed on Florida waterways in the early 1900s. They poisoned water, killed fish, and temporarily knocked back the hyacinth. The plant returned within months. By the 1940s, 2,4-D herbicides were deployed. The same chemical compounds later used in Agent Orange were tested on water hyacinth. Millions of gallons were sprayed across southern waterways. The plant returned within months. Mechanical harvesting was attempted. Giant machines scooped hyacinth from rivers and piled it on banks. The effort was expensive and endless. For every ton removed, 2 tons grew back. Biological control was introduced. Weevils that feed on water hyacinth were released. Moths, whose larvae damage the plants, were imported. They reduced growth rates slightly, but never achieved control. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has fought water hyacinth continuously since 1899. They have never won a permanent victory on any waterway. The plant cannot be defeated because the conditions that support it persist. Warm water, nutrient runoff, and disturbed ecosystems are the foundation of water hyacinth success. Until those change, the plant will thrive. We've spent over $100 million per year fighting this plant. We've poisoned our water to kill it. We've failed completely. Maybe it's time to stop fighting. These weren't just survival plants. They were abundance machines developed by evolution over millions of years to capture sunlight, clean water, and produce biomass at rates that dwarf human agriculture. No fertilizer required, no pesticides needed, no irrigation demanded. Just water, sunlight, and biological efficiency beyond anything we've engineered. And here's what the chemical industry doesn't want you to understand. This plant isn't a disaster, it's an opportunity. A properly harvested water hyacinth system produces feed, fuel, fertilizer, and fiber while cleaning water. A waterway sprayed with herbicides produces nothing but pollution and profit for chemical companies. Our great-grandparents saw invasive plants as free resources. We see only problems that require purchasing solutions. Modern resource management forgot this perspective because forgetting made corporations money. Every water hyacinth not harvested is a herbicide sold. Every free resource ignored is a commercial product purchased. The industry profits from your failure to see abundance. For over a century, they've been winning. Waterways have been poisoned to kill plants that could have fed livestock. Biomass has been destroyed that could have generated energy. Resources have been wasted that could have built economies. But knowledge can't be killed forever. The principles haven't changed. Plants still grow. Biomass still converts. Resources still exist for those willing to harvest them. And water hyacinth still produces more abundance per acre than any crop ever planted. The next time you see a waterway choked with water hyacinth, 2 perspectives are available. You can see a problem that requires expensive intervention. Or you can see free feed, free fuel, free fertilizer, and free fiber waiting for anyone willing to harvest it. If this knowledge matters to you, subscribe now. Share this with everyone still believing the lies about invasive species, because the most useful plants on Earth are the ones they taught you to hate. I'll see you in the next video.